I started teaching my course this week, and
how'd it go? Is it bigger?
I make it look easy, bro. I make it look easy.
I heard people showed up shirtless.
Yeah, there's multiple people who just come to the class without the shirt on, and I'm like, bold choice. Make yourself at home, and they're all like ripped, so like it's not like we do have a line, and the line is if you're not ripped, you put your shirt on. If you're not adding to the visual appeal, you're taking away from the visual appeal, and that's my rule with my course. My class are my rules.
Were the sales? How do they compare to is digital revenue dropping off?
Highest sales ever.
Really?
For me, I thought it would be slower because like the economy's going down. I don't know why. Maybe I sold it better. Maybe people just were like, oh, you know what? Like, yeah, life is changing. You got pandemic, you got layoffs, you got all kinds of stuff. Like, what if basically, can I use a skill set here to win in this? Like, what do I need to change given that the world is like not the same as it was? I think there's an element of that. Like, it's sort of a New Year's resolution effect where when the world changes a bunch, people like assess like what matters, and they realize like, oh wow, if I invested a little bit of money here, could I unlock more potential in this new path because my current path is being shaken up.
And you did it on Maven?
What the reason? Doing it on Maven. They've been like, they went overboard for me. It's been awesome. They're like managing my course for me and like doing a bunch of awesome helpful stuff. The first session, I was like, oh shit, okay, I gotta like dust off the cobwebs. I gotta go perform. And right before I was like, okay, I'm gonna go on, and I always work myself into a state of mind. And I'm like, I don't show up to these like cold, or I don't rely on the slide deck or the material. I'm like, I gotta perform. So I'm like, but I'm sorry, like it's 10 minutes before, and I'm like, oh, I'm not in state right now. I gotta get in state. So I'm like, okay, what do I do? And I'm like, I gotta like, like in NASCAR or whatever, where you pull over and like they do like the pit stop and like it's like bzz, 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 and they take off all four wheels, put new wheels on, they like paint again, they slap the driver in the face, like go. Like that's basically what I did to myself. I like jumped in a cold shower, and I immediately turned on this thing. I like this like YouTube video, and I was like, all right, what do I need? I was like, I think if I come out hot with a story, like I think in that first 2 minutes, if I just come in strong, people are gonna be like, oh shit, this is gonna be this is gonna be different. Like, oh, this is gonna be good, because like that first impression is gonna really matter. So I Googled this like I was like amazing. I don't know what I wrote, but I was like amazing start of a speech. I put that in YouTube or something, and it pops out this video from a guy who won like the Toastmasters challenge, and the guy does this. He goes, "This is good for the YouTube viewers. Maybe podcast, you're not gonna know what the hell's going on." So the guy walks out on stage, not a great looking guy. Some looks like my Indian cousin from somewhere. So he walks out and he's like, doesn't say a word. Stands in front of the stage. He's digging into his pocket. You don't know what he's reaching for. Pulls out a cigarette, puts it in his teeth, gets a lighter, trying to light the cigarette. And you can just hear the crowd like murmuring. Like some people are laughing nervously. Some people are like, no, like you're indoors. Like don't do this. And like other people are just like, they don't know what to make of it. So already, motherfucker hasn't said a word, and he's commanding the room just by doing a pattern interrupt, right? So he comes out here and he's like, and he looks at the crowd because they're all reacting at this point. And he was like in his own world. And he didn't come out there and say, hi, I'm Shaan. I'm here to talk about, but nope. He didn't go out there and grovel to the audience. He's trying to light the cigarette. Then he looks like, oh, you're there? And he looks and he goes, what? This? No. And I was like, what? I was like, what is he doing? This is incredible. This is mind blowing. He's like, in just his facial expression, he was like, oh, what? What, am I doing something? This? No. He goes, you think this is going to kill me? Let me tell you something. You know how many people die from cigarettes every year? And I was like, and nobody does the answer. He's like, whatever. 4 million people die from cigarettes every year. He's like, you know how many people die from like obesity, from sugar? If I had brought out a cupcake, and he's like, nobody would have batted an eye. But I like this one little cigarette. Statistically shows that, like actually the biggest variable in me getting lung cancer is my genetics and not the fact that I smoke. Blah, blah, blah. He goes, and also I made all those facts up. So, and then he's like, by then he's got them like in the palm of his hand. They're laughing. They're like, they're intrigued. Everybody's paying attention. Then he goes into his talk and whatever. He like starts his thing. And I was like, this is the fire I need. I turn off the video, I run out the shower, I put on a shirt, and I start my course. And I'm like, I don't do that. I do like a completely different thing, but that just sort of like set the mood for me.
What did you do?
Anyways, so what did I do? Oh, I go, I first told the story. I go, you know, I'm here, but I normally don't do this. And they're like, what do you, like, you're teaching this course. I just paid you money. What do you mean you don't do this? So I'm like, I don't really do this. You know, I wanted to watch what an amazing, what does the best public speaker do? So I watched a video of Tony Robbins talking at the Dreamforce conference. Who here is from San Francisco? You know, if you're, you know, the Dreamforce conference, if you're from San Francisco, because it shuts the whole fucking city down. And you're like, why can't I drive? Because Salesforce is having a conference? Like, they shut down the roads. And people are like, yeah, in the chat. And then I'm like, all right. And Mark Benioff, CEO of Salesforce, goes, all right, guys, we got a special treat. The final speaker of the event. This guy's one of the best, but here's the deal. He doesn't come out to a cold room. This guy will not come out if this room is cold. He won't, and not temperature-wise. He's like, you need to have some energy. You need to be, I know it's the end of the day, but this guy won't walk out to a cold room. So let's get the clap going. And people start clapping. And he comes out and like, it's basically like he got a standing ovation before he even entered the stage. And I was like, I saw that. And I was like, new thing for me. I don't come out to a cold room. And so I like demanded that they give me a little energy. And I was like, how about we start with a story? Who's down for a story? And they're like, yeah, all right, well, give me a story. I go, and I told a story. I've told it on the podcast before, the DMV story. And basically my message to them was like, look, let's all be honest. 98% of courses end in what? And everybody in the chat's like, waste of money, waste of time, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, so good decision. You dropped $1,000 on this course. And you know that the stats say 98% of you are going to end up with a waste of money, no results, no progress, waste of time. And I was like, okay, but we don't, you know, we're not part of we don't want to be a statistic. So like, what's the right way to do this? And I told this story about like how my trainer, how he goes to the DMV, and normally the DMV is like this horrible experience. And he's like, I want a 5-star experience. So he decided to show up. He's like, if I want them to be a 5-star hospitality experience, like the Ritz-Carlton of DMVs, I'm going to show up as a 5-star customer. So I'm going to walk in with a different energy into that. And then like, and then a bunch of good things happened. He got to skip the lines. Lady gave him the thing. He didn't have to take the test, blah, blah, blah. I told the full story of that version. And I was basically telling them like, you're going to get out what you put in. If you show up to this, like, yeah, half of you are right now in the Zoom, you're slouched over, low energy, half checking your phone, you know, not sure if this is going to be good or bad, like, you know, not convinced, you know, you're coming in with a 2-star attitude and a 2-star effort, you're going to get a 2-star result. And so I'm going to show you in this first session, literally how to attend a course. It has nothing to do with writing, but I'm going to teach you how to show up to a course. We don't learn this in school. I'm going to show you how to actually do this right. And then I like go through a couple of like methods.
That's actually amazing. So let's talk about this course thing for a second, because it seems like you are getting a lot of energy from doing it, right?
In the moment, yes. I enjoy teaching it. I hate selling it.
Fair. Okay, great. I mean, I don't think anyone really enjoys selling it, but I think you enjoy the act of teaching, which is good.